Hey y'all, before this episode gets started, I just wanted to let y'all know that maybe y'all noticed already, but we have a new logo for the podcast. Big shout out to I want to get his name right. Big shout out to Matt Jackson, MC Bearcat 7557 on Twitter for designing this logo for us. We really appreciate it. This is probably the best logo we could have ever possibly gotten for this podcast. It allowed us to retire that crew jersey design we had earlier, and I really like this logo. I just wanted to let you guys know that we do have a new logo. Shout out the person who made it. Go toss him a follow on Twitter. He did a fantastic job on this, killed it. And with that being said, let's get to the podcast. Hope you guys enjoy.
And that's blocked by Turner. Shot clock down to 4. Haliburton a deep three, and he drills it.
X finds Warren. Here's a long three.
Was in, now Duarte, another three.
And welcome everybody to the second episode of the Pacing Forward podcast. Thank you for tuning in. If you tuned in last week, we appreciate you tuning in again this week. We appreciate you even more. My name is Cammy, the house that Cammy built. You should already know this by now if you watched last week. And my co-host,
Dom. Just want to say thank you for everybody that listened to us last week and put up with, our mic situation. And hopefully this week you'll tune into us even more because we're going to be addressing more of your questions today.
Absolutely. So we'll just get right to it. Nothing major happened this past week. The Indiana Pacers only played one game, which was last night.
I wouldn't say nothing major happened. All-Star Weekend was great.
Oh, well, so. Yeah. All-Star Weekend, James Harden playing his first game for Philly. All that stuff happened.
Yeah.
But Pacers-wise, we only played one game, although it was a very important game. We gotta address that. It's a very important game. It was against...
Yeah, we have a lot to talk about from that game because we love to dissect basketball.
Yeah, absolutely. And the based on who our opponent was this year, not this year, but based on who our opponent was last night, knowing our situation in the draft and our situation going forward as rebuilding, we had a pretty important opponent, and we delivered with a loss, of course.
Yeah. So, obviously we were all devastated when Shai Gilgeous-Alexander went down with his injury prior to the All-Star break.
Yes, sir.
Especially us because, as a tanking team, we wanted our tanking rivals, obviously, win more games. And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander does that. So upon hearing that he was healthy, we were very happy to see him back in that OKC jersey, and he delivered, and he destroyed us last night.
Absolutely. I mean, barring a incredible late fourth quarter game tying shot by Lance Stevenson, all the pieces really fit together last night. I mean, the young guys showed out. Let me pull up some stats from last night. And
as you're doing that, we just want to give a quick shout out to Trey Mann because I didn't know how good the dude was till yesterday.
Yes.
That was personally my first Trey Mann game. And I
absolutely.
think he's got a great future in this league.
For sure. 22, 4, and 5. Trey Mann. Baisley had 14 and 10. Roby had a double-double. Shea had 36, 8, and 5. Pokuševski had 13. Theo Maldion had 14. And on the Pacers side, I mean, good games basically for everybody. We had Buddy Hield, surprisingly 29, 7, and 5. We had O'Shea Brissett 10 points and 15 rebounds.
I'm pretty sure he shot it pretty bad from 3 last night. But,
true. But
seeing a double-double for Shea is always good.
Double-double, especially with that many rebounds. The guy's like, 6'7", 6'8"?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
he's running
cool.
Power forward pretty perfectly. So
Absolutely. Yeah. Of course, our guy Tyrese, 14 and 11. Even though he did take an ill-advised shot at around the end of overtime, but that's all right. I feel like every one of those mistakes he does 10 things that are that redeem the mistake.
And me and Cammy, we were both on different sides last night. So I personally was not satisfied by Tyrese's game yesterday, because the thing for me, I like every night that Tyrese goes out there, I want to see him drop like 20. And even though that might not, sophomore player, that might not be the mindset I should be in right now. Having 11 assists and 14 points, I need more of that.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping he'll give us more of that against the Celtics our next game.
Absolutely.
But the 11 assists, honing in on that, I mean, the dude is one of the better passers that the Pacers have ever had.
Not even in the past 10 whatever years ever.
Yeah. So his passing, his playmaking, he's got a great playmaking future in this league.
Absolutely. And talking about those 11 assists, we saw him giving out dimes to everybody, and one of those guys that he did pass to was Isaiah Jackson, 17 and 6 in 23 minutes for that guy.
Yeah, Isaiah Jackson, we can't get enough of him.
Exactly. I mean, if we pull
every
up
time he goes down with injury, though, we're it's terrible. It's horrible to see, and just to see him finally play a full game, it was great.
Yeah, absolutely. Jackson has been killing it for us this year. In fact, if I pull up his per 36 minute stats, because this year he's played 21 games, started 3. He's averaged around 10 minutes a game. But if you look at his per 36 stats, 22 points, 10 rebounds, and 3.3 blocks.
I mean, this guy fell to us in the second round. That's the thing that we got to remember.
Yeah, exactly.
To be a second round pick and to have hit the production that he's having, and to be one of the brighter spots of the Pacers is just great to see.
Correction. He was a 21st pick.
Oh, he was the 21st.
I thought he was the 22nd.
I mean, but even to fall that low is just insane to me.
The 22nd pick to the Lakers. He was traded to the Wizards and then to the Pacers, I believe, which sent Aaron Holiday to the Wizards.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Which, shout out Aaron Holiday. He's doing all right for the Suns. Maybe he could go win a championship.
Yeah. But yeah, Isaiah Jackson, he's really nice, and I don't think anybody's questioning his potential, because he's already you already see the potential there.
Absolutely, the two-way potential.
The thing with Duarte is people are going to question him being a 24-year-old rookie, but Isaiah Jackson, he's still young, he's still got pep in his step.
Exactly, Isaiah Jackson, with him being only 20, with him only recently having turned 20 years old, and him playing this well when the lights are on is just fantastic. We talk about last game. Dude had 22 minutes and 5 blocks.
5 blocks.
5 blocks last night. 5 blocks.
I don't know. I love the kid so much. I didn't think that he was going to be, because Pacers rookies, they're never really, we've never really had a hit, or we haven't had a hit rookie since Paul George.
Right. Exactly. We
saw some potential in Cassius Stanley and all the other draft picks, but we never really felt like we hit on anybody.
Exactly. Except this year we've smashed it.
Yeah.
This year we've
getting two picks that are actually producing really good is amazing.
Exactly. And then you combine that with guys like Terry Taylor. Who else? Dwayne Washington, even though he's been kind of iffy, but I
liked his defense last game.
What was that?
I like Dwayne Washington's defense a little bit.
Yeah. Dwayne's defense was alright last game, even though he didn't fill up the stat sheet, only 3 points and 3 assists, but he did a lot of things that didn't show up in the stat sheet in only 12 minutes. So yeah, shout out to him. And also another shout out to our guy. Please stay with us, Jalen Smith.
Jalen Smith, man. This guy has been balling out for us. 16 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists. It's just the fact that this guy. I wonder. It makes you wonder, if Jalen Smith would have taken a huge jump, if his rookie season wasn't playing behind the offensive caliber big that is DeAndre Ayton. If he was like the starter for any basketball team, like a rebuilding one especially, like it makes you wonder, like would he have been, like the real deal this year? Because you already see that he has ounces of potential. Like he's a great player already.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
just to, like think what would happen if he had more run is just like what could have been basically.
Facts. That's 100% true. And hell, you look at what he did when Ayton and JaVale McGee were out, when they stopped playing him in power forward and realized this guy's supposed to be playing center. You look at this guy; he averaged a 15-point double-double in those games that he started, and I don't know how the Suns saw that and decided, yeah, we're gonna trade this guy away. Well, the thing with that is that they did decline his team option, which is a dumb decision, really dumb decision.
And of course, they dumped it on us, and they got back a really good player in Torrey Craig.
Yeah, true.
And Torrey Craig is obviously gonna defend the hell out of the ball for them. But giving us a young player like Jalen Smith, who could potentially resign, hopefully, please resign.
Exactly, and
giving him back to us was perfect.
One of the better things about us having Jalen Smith is that we do have his early bird rights. And early bird rights, I explained this to you earlier, but early bird rights are when a player spends 2 consecutive seasons with a team. The exemption allows the player to resign for 175% of their previous salary or 104.5% of the league's average salary, whichever one is higher.
So what would that round out to, like $8 million that we could potentially give him in the offseason?
I believe so. Let me check. 4.7 times 1.75 is around $8.2 million. Yes.
Okay.
And I'm hoping $8 million a year combined with him getting an increased role, and I'm sure him and Kevin Pritchard have had this talk before. I mean, it's not like Jalen showed up and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna leave next year, or him and our front office have not talked, because I know for a fact him and KP have definitely had this conversation where, like, all right, we know that you're going to be expiring soon and we're not going to have that big of a chance to re-sign you, but listen, you play well this year, you show us you have a spot, we're going to sign you for 1 year on however much we can give you, and then the next year when you become, when the restriction wears off, we're going to give you a big contract, essentially.
Yeah.
And
right now we're in like a center logjam of like Miles Turner,
exactly,
Isaiah Jackson, Jalen Smith, where we might need to move on from one of them.
Speaking of the guy we need to move on from, Goga Bitadze only played 1 minute last night and had a rebound. So,
and Rick Carlisle, he's again he's been a really good coach for us, and he's seen, Goga can't bang around with some of the better bigs in the league. So giving more run to Isaiah Jackson and Terry Taylor has really improved our overall defensive scheme.
Exactly. And the thing with Goga is that he had some good run in that Bucks game, didn't play against the Wizards, and barely played last night against the Thunder. So do you think it's a stretch to say that his time on the team is ticking down?
I don't really see him on the team next year. Like, realistically, I mean, I don't know any team that would see any potential in Goga Bitadze. Like, he hasn't really showed any potential. He's shown that he can be a solid backup big. Playing him like a good 10 minutes might not hurt your team too much against like a backup center. But on a team like ours that is looking to rebuild, and we already have a surplus amount of centers, I really don't see him staying.
Exactly, and especially if Jalen Smith leans towards staying, then yeah, Goga can kiss this team goodbye.
And we've loved the time with Goga. He's been one of our favorite players to watch, and we make memes about him all the time. And he's a really fun and really sweet dude. I've met him before.
Oh, you did?
But I've met him before at one of the Pacers games, and he's a really cool dude.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I don't really see his future with us.
Yeah. I don't see a future where Goga Bitadze is on this team. Besides, maybe if he wants to take a year with our G League team. But the thing with him being on our G League team is that he's too good for the G League.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a problem with Goga. When you're too good for the G League but not good enough for the NBA, you're kind of stuck. And what I think Goga could benefit from is maybe a couple years overseas where he learns more of the game and gets more used to the NBA pace. Because right now he's a boy amongst men, despite his size.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of boys among men, has no correlation whatsoever. But Tyrese Haliburton, preceding All-Star Weekend, and All-Star Weekend was fun.
Yeah, really
he got
fun. Steph Curry went off.
Championship, so we love that.
Absolutely.
But after that, Tyrese has been on a little bit of social media. He was on JJ Redick's podcast.
Yep, old man in the three.
He's been taking shots at the Kings.
Yeah. Let me pull up this. Let me pull up this quote right here by the man himself.
And while you do that, I listened to the entire podcast, and he was talking about how he spent the better half of his All-Star break packing his things from Sacramento to Indiana.
Yep.
And he also talked about how the Kings GM, there was really no sentiment upon him being traded. He was just kind of like, goodbye, Tyrese.
Yeah, exactly. And he said it himself. He said he got traded within half an hour. Half an hour of them telling him he was untouchable, he got traded.
Yeah.
Which is, I really don't understand. I really don't understand why. Because let's be honest, half an hour before the trade was finalized, you were in talks with the Pacers.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not like half an hour later this revelation came and you said, "Oh, we should trade Tyrese." You were in talks before. So it's just really
and just to not tell him for those they talked about it too. They tried to offer us
De'Aaron.
They tried to offer us De'Aaron for Sabonis. We told them no, and somehow they gave us Tyrese Haliburton instead. And
Tyrese and Buddy. And here's the big quote that Tyrese had. This was about Tristan Thompson. This was about Tristan Thompson's short time in Indiana, around a week. But here's the quote. Tristan joked with me that him coming here was like his big brother dropping him off at school. My favorite part was that he didn't have a tribute to Sacramento but had one for Indy. And people took that as a shot towards Sacramento.
I mean, that's what I would take it as too.
Yeah, exactly.
Again, I doubt they told Tristan any time prior. But a player like Tristan Thompson, you got to always be aware that you're on the move. But just to throw Tristan, Buddy, and Tyrese to the side like that with no
prior talk.
Yeah.
It's just really stupid. And talking about
I mean Tyrese knew that he was on Tyrese knew that some talks were going on with Philly, but no talks with Indiana.
To Indiana.
The GM didn't even make him aware that anything was happening. So
exactly.
That's probably where the sentiment comes from.
Exactly. And people are saying that Tyrese is being corny. Tyrese is starting to take it too far. I personally don't believe that. I really don't believe that. I mean, you think about it. You think about it. If your team, the team that you were on, said that we're not going to trade you, you are untouchable, don't worry, you're going to stay here. 30 minutes later, they say, all right, you're going to Indiana for Domantas Sabonis.
I remember part of the podcast too. He was talking about, I'm the only person that actually wants to be.
Exactly.
Free agents. Nobody. First of all, Sacramento's a small market, even though they're in California of all places. Second of all, if I'm a big name free agent, and if I'm like the LeBrons of the league, and my contract is up, and it's time for me to make a decision to move to to move to a team in California, I'd rather live in a place like the Bay or live in Los Angeles rather than Sacramento. That's literally what he said.
Exactly.
But he embraced being in Sacramento.
Exactly.
He
embraced the city. He embraced the state. And for them to basically throw him to the curb and say, "All right, we don't need you anymore. You're off to Indiana with barely any notice," is just really stupid. Yeah. Really stupid, in my opinion.
And even right now, they're the Kings are playing a game right now. And we're praying for them. Hopefully, to make the play in. They just lost the game to the Nuggets. What is that? 2-4 with Sabonis or something?
I believe so. 2-4 with Sabonis, and I mean, shout out to Sabonis. Dude's been balling out lately. Not saying he hasn't.
But we just don't really see how Domas puts you over the hump or moves, the needle really far.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we love Domas. We think he can be a good 2-3 guy on a champion, not a championship contender, but like a playoff contender.
Playoff team,
a team that's looking to do something in the playoffs. But then again, having the guy as your number 2 behind someone like De'Aaron Fox is just not gonna move the needle. I mean, maybe if they had Fox as a 2, Sabonis as a 3, and then another big star, that could work. But at the spot that the Sacramento Kings are right now, with them also having Harrison Barnes, Sean Holmes, all those guys, and the spot that they're in right now, I can't see them being anything more than a play-in team that can maybe get push the 1 seed to 5 or 6 games.
Yeah, as a team that should be going in a rebuilding direction. I mean, Harrison Barnes, you should have moved him. You should be looking to move him in the offseason right about now, barring no Sabonis trade.
Rashawn Holmes,
you should be looking to move Rashawn Holmes, to keep Rashawn Holmes. But now Rashawn Holmes is playing off the bench.
Yeah,
because of Sabonis. And it's like Sabonis, Rashawn Holmes, you signed him to that contract to be a starter level talent, not to come off the bench. Sabonis.
Yeah, exactly. It just doesn't make sense. And then them re-signing Buddy Hield to that bad contract and then putting him in trade talks the next season is just stupid.
Yeah.
I want Sacramento to do good, but at the same time, it's like you guys got to have your priorities straight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like you put yourself in this position. There's really nothing we can do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Sabonis, I'm gonna be rooting for him. I think him and Fox are a good combo. But I think I've said this to you before. I haven't said this on the podcast, but I think in two seasons when his contract expires, he's going to the Portland Trailblazers.
Oh yeah, we already cooked up the narrative. You remember? DeMontis going where his father played.
Yep, his father, Arvydas Sabonis.
DeMontis Sabonis, 2-1, bring Portland back to the promised land.
Yep, exactly. Him and Damian Lillard. I mean, if Portland is serious with this whole Damian Lillard thing, which I don't know what they're doing. Maybe they're trying to dump off salary to get a big free agent, but we'll see what happens with that. But maybe in 2024, I believe, is when Sabonis' contract expires. He could. I think he will go to the Blazers because realistically, I can't see the Kings being anything more than maybe a 7th seed, maybe.
Yeah, and that's still in the play-in. So I really don't see them being a top 6 team anytime soon.
Exactly. And we want.
I don't even know if I can say. I don't know if I can say 7 because right now 7 is the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Yeah, and I don't. We don't.
Obviously, their offense is going to get better as years go along.
Exactly. We don't think the Wolves are going to slow down anytime soon. So at this point, it's like the Kings have kind of stagnated. I think right now they're as good as they'll ever be with Sabonis and Fox.
And then you have teams like the Pelicans. We're praying Zion comes back soon.
Exactly.
Comes back healthy.
Well, that's Zion.
It's just all these stay-in teams, and then next year maybe you get a healthy Clippers, maybe you get a healthy Lakers. And
the Lakers may retool.
Yeah, so just all of these things happening and the Kings trading for Sabonis, it's just it doesn't make sense to me as of right now.
It really doesn't. It really doesn't. And people are saying that the reception on the trade or the PR since the trade happened hasn't been exactly balanced. It's been pretty lopsided in Tyrese's favor. Well, obviously, I mean, come on.
Yeah, I mean, you give us a player that everybody had their eyes on in Sacramento, and you put him on a team where he can really flourish. I'd put all my eyes on him too.
Yeah, exactly. I'd be talking about him a lot too. And one more thing we need to discuss. I almost forgot about this, but our boy Malcolm Brogdon came back from injury.
Oh yeah, Malcolm. I mean, we eased him into the game too. I don't think he played much of the.
Yeah, he didn't play any of the fourth quarter or overtime.
Yeah. So, I mean, Malcolm Brogdon is, one of our favorite players. He's been one of our, we liked him more than Sabonis when Sabonis was here.
Yeah, really, really, we did. We really did.
So, and to have him back is great, and he just, he continues to show us that, mix of, rebuilding but also still wanting to be good that
Yeah,
the Pacers are
exactly.
trying to emulate.
I mean, talking about
So,
Brogdon's stats last night, he had 15 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. But what was more eye-catching was how he was playing. He was playing more off-ball to Tyrese Haliburton. He was playing shooting guard,
Yeah.
which is what we've been begging for the past year or so.
Yeah.
So,
Because Brogdon's a great player, but he's a much better player off ball.
way better playing off-ball. In fact,
his on-ball creation is kind of iffy. So
yeah. In fact, if you remember, that's why the Bucks let him go, even though he was a restricted free agent. They let him go because he said he wanted to play point guard, and the Bucks didn't let him.
because they already had Bledsoe.
They already had Eric Bledsoe, which, I mean, honestly, if we were going off point guards, I'd rather have Brogdon than Bledsoe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Eric Bledsoe come playoff time is not your best chance at winning a championship.
Regular season wise he's okay, but when it comes to the playoffs, I mean, if we remember that 2019 playoffs against Toronto, he absolutely shat the bed.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Brogdon, I remember correctly, Brogdon was actually good that series.
Brogdon was very good. He was catching and shooting. He was balling out for them that series.
But the team got schemed around, and Giannis was being exploited. So, and you let your teammates shoot. That's basically what they were telling him. And Eric Bledsoe, he wasn't doing any of that.
Yep, exactly. All right, now that we've talked about the game, we talked about the All-Star weekend. I think it's time for I think you know what time it is. It's time for questions.
It is question time, yes, sir.
It is question time, and this week, since we didn't do your questions that much justice, we only answered like a few. This week we've got a good amount of questions to answer, and I think if you guys made it up to this point, thank you. But I think y'all want to stick around for this one because these are some of your questions. You, the listeners, these are some of your questions. And again, you can send in your questions to my Twitter, TYRES3HALL on Twitter, the house that Cammy built. These are questions that I picked up earlier this afternoon. I tweet every afternoon asking for questions, and these are what you guys asked. So, first question we got.
Starting with our first one, we have a question from our good friend Cody. Yep. He asked us, favorite non-top 10 prospects, or if you haven't looked that far yet, who's your favorite as a whole?
Well, non-top 10 prospects, I'm not too sure. We might have to get on that soon because we do have the Cavs pick.
Yeah.
Which is at around number 18 right now, so we might have to look up who we want to draft with that pick. But if we're talking about who's your favorite as a whole, I mean, I'll let you say it because I know we have the exact same person in mind.
Yeah, it's Jaden Ivey,
It's Jaden Ivey.
Yeah, Purdue, I mean, in-house dude.
In Indiana guy, Jaden Ivey from Purdue.
He's perfect on this team.
Yeah, perfect fit on this team alongside Duarte and those guys.
But he's a small forward, right?
And he's a small forward shooting guard.
He's a really good scorer, and we think he'd fit perfectly next to our dudes that we have currently. So we really want him over here.
Yeah, and he's projected to go to Indiana. Almost everybody has him going to Indiana in a mock draft, and everybody's basically agreeing that him going to the Pacers would be a good move as pretty much everyone agrees that Brogdon is going to be traded, hopefully on draft day.
And Indiana, we love our in-house dudes. We love Purdue.
Exactly.
Purdue, IU dudes.
Yeah, exactly. Butler. We got to talk about Butler products too, like Gordon Hayward, Keelan Martin.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason why we were targeting Gordon Hayward last year in free agency or the year before or in a trade was because he's an Indiana guy.
Yeah.
And Dom and I, we weren't too thrilled about the idea of getting Hayward, but the fact that we are targeting,
we really weren't. We really did want that contract.
Yeah, we did not want that contract, and from Miles Turner, no.
Yeah.
But
and if not Jaden Ivey, there's other forwards like Shaden Sharp.
Shaden Sharp, but we don't know if Sharp is going to commit, if he's going to commit to the draft. But if he does, we wouldn't mind having him.
Okay.
Yeah, Banchero, of course.
I know for certain, like, the position we should be looking for is like a forward kind of dude.
Yeah, a wing.
Or a small forward.
Yeah, a wing.
Because like right now, I mean, even shoot, if we if the draft the balls, if they give us the second pick, then hell, throw the balls to the wall, draft a Jabari Smith, draft a Pablo Banchero.
Oh yeah. And, if you get to
the slide O'Shea to the 3.
Yeah, if you get a first or second pick, you shouldn't be worried about fit. You should be worried about who's the best player.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Trade Miles Turner, get Chet Holmgren, run Chet Holmgren at power forward if you want to.
Yeah, exactly. And talking about Miles Turner, even though we don't like to mention it, he could get traded soon.
Yeah. And a world without Miles Turner is crazy because, like, I mean, he's been one of our, in-house dudes. Like, we've loved everything that Miles Turner has brought to us from, since 2018. I don't even remember when he got drafted, but
2016, I believe.
One of my earlier
2015.
one of my earlier memories of him was in that Cleveland series. Even though we lost, like, I loved his play.
Yeah, he had a fantastic series. Exactly, and yeah.
Okay, next question.
All right, next question
from Davey. We got how would you feel if the Pacers drafted / signed LeBron, Bronny, and Bron?
Yeah, I think this is one of my favorite questions I've ever gotten. Of course, LeBron did say during All-Star Weekend that whatever team Bronny goes to, he's gonna sign there and he's gonna play out. If not the rest of his career, then at least one season there. And I mean, looking at where Bronny's career is headed, I believe he's entering his senior year of high school.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's entering his senior year of high school, and provided that I think he is going to play only 1 year in college. So, assuming he plays 1 year in college, he will be eligible in the 2024 NBA draft. And around that time, I think if the Pacers are still bad, then I'd be pretty surprised. But more than likely, it's going to be like an OKC or a Detroit that gets Bronny.
Yeah.
But hey, if Bron, because the thing with Bronny is that no matter how bad he plays in college or in his last year of high school, he's going to get drafted.
Mm-hmm.
Because
I mean, LeBron's son is obviously going to get drafted.
Yeah, exactly. And then
the first round.
Yeah, and then LeBron doing his farewell tour on the team that drafts him. That's enough enticement for him to go in the first round, I believe. If we do get Bronny, then it's going to be very awkward because a lot of Pacers fans, y'all probably know this, a lot of Pacers fans do not like LeBron.
Yeah. And I don't think we share their sentiment. We do like LeBron.
Yeah. I mean, I love LeBron.
He did give us the send off in 2018.
I mean, if we're being real, he gave us a send off in 2012, 2013, 2014, and 2017 and 2018.
I mean, thank God he did. Like, we weren't going anywhere with those teams. So
yeah, very true. And I mean, I don't know if you remember this. I think you do remember this. There was an incident earlier in the season. The Lakers were playing in Indiana, and some hecklers got sent out of the arena because of some things they said about LeBron and his son.
Because our fans are insane.
Yeah, legitimately.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we definitely do hate LeBron. But
Yeah.
having LeBron on the team, I mean, if he's trying to win us a championship,
Yeah, we can put all those differences aside. Even the worst possible fans, I agree. They're gonna get over that in like a week or so when we start winning games. You know what I mean?
And that builds a narrative like, LeBron sent this team home multiple times,
And now he's back.
and then
he's back
and now
to,
he wants to play with them. It's like, fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah. Well, you're welcome. You are 100% welcome to come here whenever you want. We'll give you all the Connecticut water you want. All right.
Our next question is from our friend Sixers fan Zero.
All-Star Maxi.
He has dream off-season targets.
Okay. So, talking about off-season targets, I mean, I don't think it would be very wise for the Indiana Pacers to go after a free agent like we did with Torrey Craig or we've done with like David West or something, because we're not that type of team anymore. We're not trying to compete.
Yeah, so there's really no reason for us to sign a bag to anybody.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
we don't need a Jeremy Grant.
Yeah, we don't need a Jeremy Grant. We don't need Bobby Portis. We don't need those guys.
Yeah. Because, Jeremy Grant, the thing he did with the Pistons, they were rebuilding, and he still, he signed with them because he wanted to find his offense. And
he wanted to find his offense.
With them.
And remember...
But then they still ended up putting him in trade talks.
Yeah, and remember, one more thing. He wanted to play with a black head coach and a black front office, so that's why the Pistons got him too.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah. But I don't see how a Jeremy Grant type player would fit with what we're doing. Maybe if we were like one piece away from contending, then maybe a Jeremy Grant guy would be good for us. But right now, the 2022 Indiana Pacers, no, I don't see how any of those offseason targets would work for us. I mean, dream offseason targets. We're talking about guys that we could get in the draft or maybe in a trade. I mean, we're talking about realistically picks and young guys.
Like, what we're looking for in offseason is, trade a Miles Turner, trade a Malcolm Brogdon if you need to.
Yep. Ricky Rubio.
Move up in the draft. If Pablo Banchero says he loves Indiana, shit, throw everything at whatever team has the second pick.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. Yeah,
we don't even care at this point. Like anybody on this team is expendable.
Yeah, anybody except for guys like 24 and younger, basically.
Oh yeah, anybody not named Tyrese, not named Jalen, not named Isaiah Jackson, not named Chris Duarte, is expendable.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like it's not like people are untouchable or anything besides those guys. And even when we're talking about those guys, I'd really only put if we would have to protect one person, I'd have it be Tyrese.
Yeah. And Tyrese said it too in one of his podcasts or in the podcast. He was like, Kev Pritchard, he told him, we really want you to have a long career here. Mm-hmm. And he might think that, Sacramento told me this too, but like Tyrese, we want you to have a long ass career.
Exactly. And we don't have the track record that the Sacramento Kings do, thankfully. So,
like we if we get a player and he's good, we love him.
Yeah, exactly.
Oladipo was the love of our life.
Yeah, Oladipo. You saw the way we embraced Paul George. We embraced all those guys.
And obviously our front office is thankfully a lot better now. Than it was when we did have Paul George.
Even though that is very true.
Off the Paul George trade.
Yes.
But front office, we really want Tyrese to be here, and anything in the offseason is just get Tyrese.
Just make Tyrese happy. Make Tyrese happy. All right.
So next question comes from our friend Khalid Capstan.
Yep.
He asks, out of all the draft prospects this year, which one is the most which one is your most controversial take for the player the Pacers should potentially avoid drafting?
Honestly, I don't think I really have one, except for, I was talking about this in tweets earlier. I'm not in love with Chet Holmgren as a prospect. I don't know how his.
I was about to say that.
What was that?
I was about to say that too.
Yeah. I think we have the same concerns. We don't know how his frame is gonna hold up. We don't know how he's gonna like be able to bang with the guys down low. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. 7-foot dude who's only 196.
Yeah. He's got like a Manu Bol type physique, and we don't. And I honestly really don't. Unless he bulks up a lot, which if he does, he'll be fantastic. But unless he bulks up, a significant amount, we don't know if he's gonna translate.
That log jam at center.
Yeah, exactly.
We really don't need another.
Yeah, we don't need a guy like that. But that's really the only guy I think we should avoid drafting.
And we talked about this earlier. This draft is really like a top-heavy draft. Like,
yeah.
Outside of some G League dudes that are playing with the G League Ignite team, and some of the dudes like after the top 10, I really don't know any like other player that I think is like a sleeper pick. Like Dosumu, who's playing great for the Chicago Bulls. I watched a lot of his basketball last year. I knew he was going to be, or I wouldn't say I knew he was going to translate to the NBA like he is right now.
Right.
But I had like a good feeling like he would be a good player for the league, and he drops to the second round, and he's been perfect for him.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Really doesn't have an Ayo Dosumu kind of guy.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, maybe we could be proven wrong later on. I'm not sure. Again, we're not big draft guys. We may have some guests on later on who are big draft guys. But as far as we're concerned, we just want the best possible player.
Yeah. So if he's not Jalen Smith, if he's not Jaden Ivey, then we don't know a lot about him.
Yeah, exactly. And another question by Khaled Capstan. There have been leaks / rumors about certain franchises using older jerseys to be their city editions next year. If the Pacers do this, which jerseys should be replicated, and would you like to see them the exact same or a more modern approach? I'll let you go first.
So we were talking earlier, obviously we have one of the better retro jerseys. We had the jerseys last year, I'm pretty sure, where it had like the Pacers logo in the middle. Yeah. So it had the pinstripe.
Yep.
We love the jerseys that we have now. If we could make those our permanent like jerseys.
Yeah. I would definitely do that.
One of the retros, that would be great.
I definitely do that.
Like,
absolutely.
Our jerseys are usually one of the better ones.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
I mean, they're never like really like the best of the best. They're never the worst of the worst, but everybody respects our jerseys. So
yeah, true.
If we were to bring it back, we wouldn't be too mad at that.
Except for if you're talking about bad jerseys, the Hickory jerseys were terrible.
Oh, come on, dude.
Man, I never liked them.
You didn't like the Hickory jerseys?
No.
I love the Hickory jerseys, man.
Why is that? Well, I never got the appeal of them.
Okay. I didn't like the red top and then the yellow bottom.
Yeah, exactly.
Was so weird. But the white Hickory, it was always clean to me.
Okay, yeah, I can respect that. But if
I pull up the Hickory ones, all I remember is George Hill in this jersey.
Yeah, George Hill and Rodney Stuckey for some reason.
Yeah, and this jersey brings me nightmares of when we had them. But seeing Oladipo in the white ones is always a good memory.
Yeah. Another Pacers jersey that I didn't like. Remember the 2019 city ones, the gray ones with the diagonal stripes.
Oh yeah, these ones. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, those weren't that good.
So we're not the greatest jersey dudes, but again, we like to keep it consistent. Usually.
Yeah, true.
Like the race car one that we had, was it last year or the year before that?
Yeah. The race car ones in 2020.
Yeah,
those are pretty good. All right. Next one
Next question.
Yeah, next.
Waz, he asked us first Pacers member you can remember. And I'll let you go there.
All right, for me, it was the 2012 NBA 2012 second round, which put the Pacers against the Heat, and I remember the Pacers were definitely the underdogs in that season. We took the Heat to 6 games, and I think that might have been PG's breakout series, maybe, but that was when Lance was stirring up a storm off the bench, talking shit to the older guys on the team. And that was just a really fun series. I think we might have been able to win that series, but that was a really fun series. We were a young team, and that was my first memory of being a Pacers fan. And I started following the team, and the next year was 2013. We had a fantastic season and got bounced in 7, of course. What about you?
Me, it might not even. It's not really like even a basketball play. It's really just like Paul George Mountain Dew commercial is like the most like. That's when I was like, oh yeah, I really fuck with this dude. Like it was just like a funny ass commercial, and I just really like. And then the deep range 3 where Paul George just shoots it up against Detroit, and he
Oh,
just
yes,
there,
yes,
and he's like
absolutely.
chewing on his mouthpiece.
Yes.
That
I
one
remember
was like
that.
that's when I was like, yeah, like this dude's amazing.
Yeah. I remember that. I have a weird remembrance of that Mountain Dew commercial. Of course, if you're watching, if you're watching,
everybody made fun of the ball game thing.
oh yeah. That I think the ball game one was a Gatorade one.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it was a Gatorade commercial. Yeah.
Oh, but I mean, all of those commercials, those aren't even bad commercials.
Yeah, they weren't bad commercials. It's just like what Paul George did in the 2020 playoffs, and like him, that they overlaid that. Remember, ball game, and then him hitting the side of the backboard.
We don't talk about that. You know, that was in Pacers Paul George, so we don't care about that.
Yeah, we love Paul George. We like Paul George.
Yeah.
All right, next question.
It was Gatorade, that's right.
Yeah, it was Gatorade. Yeah. All right, next question is from PXXSB. He says, who is your MVP and championship favorites? I think mine, I'm going to go with Joel Embiid on the Sixers, and for championship favorites, I'm going to go with either the Suns or the Sixers. For Suns out west and Sixers out east. Because I think now that the Sixers have Joel Embiid, now that they have a guy that can shoot and create alongside Embiid, they're going to be next to unstoppable. And I know they are going to have those off nights, but I think those are, now that they have the team that they have, those are going to be more few and far between. And the Suns have just been killing it this season. What about you?
Well, MVP for me is, I think he's going to go back to back as Nikola Jokic.
Right.
I enjoy watching him a lot. I know a lot of people have different sentiment towards him. But I really like Nikola Jokic. He's currently at the 6th seed. I think he can still win some more games.
If Murray and MPJ come back, then
yeah, I think you got to get to that 4 or 5 before you really consider yourself like, okay, I'm blocked for MVP.
Yeah,
but he's definitely deserving of it. Him and Joel, they were top 2.
Yeah, him and Joel are without a doubt top 2, and we could debate about who's the better player nonstop. But I really don't want to get into that because that's a very toxic debate.
But my championship pick, again, the 76ers, like they started the season out like one of the bottom tier teams, and you know they've battled and they're at the 3 seed right now with a home court advantage.
And remember, it's only going to get better from here with Harden.
Yeah, and you know, getting rid of a player who wasn't doing anything for you.
Yeah, quite literally, a player that was not playing for
adding
you.
James Harden onto a team that was already good, like offensively. It's like, dude.
Yeah,
the writing's on the wall. Like they're definitely a championship-built team, and there's not a lot of holes on that team. They got the right amount of defense. They got, you know, it really just depends on Joel, Harden, and Doc Rivers. Like everybody talks about it. They're usually one of the people that drop in the playoffs.
Yep, that's true.
To be consistent come playoff time.
Yeah, and while we're talking about the Sixers, I think us and a lot of people owe Daryl Morey an apology.
Oh yeah. The dude was sitting around. We thought he was just waiting. We thought he was doing the Tyrese Haliburton trade.
Yeah.
Thank God he did. Us Tyrese Haliburton.
Exactly. And in fact, if you remember, when around I think it was summer of 2020. No, not summer, but like around offseason of 2021. Brogdon was in talks to get traded for Ben Simmons. We were about to trade for Ben Simmons.
I really, the Ben Simmons trade talks, man. That was a tough period, man. I really did want Ben Simmons.
Yeah, we really did not want Ben Simmons. And hell, even though we don't like the extension, when Brogdon got extended, we were happy because we realized that we can't get traded for Simmons anymore.
Exactly. Because I mean, Ben is, hopefully Ben balls out with the Nets. Whatever,
Yeah, rooting for
he's
him.
gonna be solid for him. But like the way that the Pacers were thinking about it, like they wanted to rebuild around Ben Simmons.
Yeah,
and
you can't
DeMontis
rebuild around
Sabonis.
a guy like Ben Simmons and Sabonis, especially
Oh my God.
Yeah, especially that spacing. Even if Ben starts shooting more, it's gonna be horrendous.
Exactly.
And I think now Ben isn't. I
Team
think.
that pushes the pace. So
Yeah, I think now Ben is in a good place with him being in Brooklyn and him getting ready to play soon. We'll see what that team does. I'm pretty excited, and them lifting the vaccine mandate for Kyrie soon. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens to that team. I'm excited for sure.
next question we got from our friend Sam. He asked, Buddy Hield trade destination for the offseason.
Yes.
And we actually got a few here.
Yep.
So
right here, let me pull them up. This comes courtesy of our third man, Juked Ups. Shout out Juked Ups. He's I don't know where he's at right now, but I'm sure he's gonna be watching this. So shout out to you.
You can follow him on Twitter at Curry Piston.
Yep. Follow him on Twitter at Curry Piston. That's our guy. I mean, last week he was the one that basically held this podcast together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we wouldn't have even known how to start this podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Big shout out to Juked Ups. I know he's listening right now. Shout out to you, man, and he's definitely gonna be on as a guest soon.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
But he gave us like two really solid trades. I mean, Buddy Hield's contract is obviously really big, so we're gonna have to pair it for either one big one or two medium size contracts.
So the first offer is Hield to Dallas for Davis Bertans, Josh Green, and a pick. And the way he talked about this was he said he's a good fit next to Luka, a good fit next to Luka, an able defender, able ball handler, obviously a top tier shooter, all that stuff he's good at, and Indiana gets a young player in return and a pick, with that being Josh Green.
Yeah. So like without the pick, I really don't see us doing that trade.
Because Davis Bertans, I can't see him on this team at all.
Yeah, Davis Bertans. I mean, Davis Bertans belongs on a contender. Like he's just gonna like provide you floor spacing off the bench. It might not
exactly.
Be floor spacing, but he's gonna floor space.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree. If we do get a guy like Bertans, it's probably gonna be as a salary filler. Maybe he's gonna play with us for a year and then we deal him again, or maybe we just trade him outright. Maybe it's a 3-team trade.
Yeah, but I mean, Josh Green he's not terrible.
Yeah, Josh Green's all right.
He's a solid young dude that can play good rotational minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Him and that I think what we're getting for that trade, the big part is that pick, which I think is gonna be a first round pick.
Yeah.
And I know.
And then the second one that Drew gave to us was the Wolves for Malik Beasley and a pick.
I really don't hate that one. I'm gonna be honest. I actually think that one's decent.
Yeah, I love Malik Beasley.
I like Malik Beasley.
I don't really know. I mean, Hield is obviously better than Malik Beasley, but. If this trade did happen, we would be happy. We just don't know if it's like realistic.
Yeah. It sounds like a little too good to be true, if you know what I mean. Yeah, I mean, I really wouldn't hate it. I wouldn't hate it. I like Malik Beasley and that pick with the Wolves. They're still gonna be a team, but I don't see it happen. The Dallas trade I could see happening. And he also mentioned Hield to the Suns for Shamit, Payne, and a pick. I can't see that happening at all. To the Jazz for Clarkson, young player, maybe. I'm not sure. But I think out of these, I like the Dallas one the best.
We just know that Buddy Hield, he's a good player and he deserves to be on a contender. So
yeah,
any contenders, hit up our phones. Hit
us up because now Kevin Pritchard is free from the shackles of Herb Simon and he can actually start making deals.
Yeah. Kevin Pritchard is in his bag as of late. So we're hoping that he's
facts.
We're hoping he can stay consistent with these good ass trades and bring us to the promised land.
Yeah. And all right, now that that's done with, we got our final trade. Our not final trade, but our final question is from Not Kev. He asks, off-season decisions on vets like TJ and Buddy. TJ being TJ McConnell, and we just talked about Buddy Hield.
TJ McConnell. I don't know. You get him on a solid team. Maybe you send him to like the Cavs or something.
Cavs or the Lakers or something. Potentially the Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Backup point guard play. And again. Like everybody that's on this team, if you want any, like we should be like the OKC Thunder.
Exactly.
If
Basically,
you don't give us a first round pick, like we don't want it.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely. We need those picks. We need those young guys. And hell, if we traded him for the Lakers, I would take Taylor Horton-Tucker. I'd be honest.
Yeah, as long as they give us a pick with it.
As long as they give, even though they don't.
Had a good game yesterday, right? Like 16 points.
That's true. I
mean, there's some solid potential there, but the main thing we want there is the pick. So
facts, absolutely. And while we're talking about veterans, I'm gonna bring up one more guy. Our guy, another TJ Warren.
Oh, TJ Warren, Bubble God.
Yep, the Bubble Man. Who ever since the bubble has played exactly 4 games for the Indiana Pacers. All of those being the beginning of last season. So
and I don't. Do you remember that Bulls game where he came back and we were like, oh yeah, TJ Warren.
Oh yeah, I remember that. He had like 19, 20 points. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So and that was with Oladipo too. We were like, oh, this is the season.
That was when we blew out the Bulls, and we had that like celebration that like, oh, we actually might do something this year with a healthy team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it obviously didn't last very long.
It did not last very long.
After that Bulls game, I'm pretty sure that was literally after that game he was done for the season.
Yeah,
and
he played the Bulls game.
Like a basketball, the next one.
He played the Bulls game, and then he had the 2 games against Boston. The one where Sabonis had the game winner.
I don't remember that one.
He was like him. He had the game winner over like I think Robert Williams, and then there was another game against Boston that we lost. But after that, he was ruled out for the season with plantar fasciitis and I believe his left foot. And since then, it was around New Year's 2022. He has not played a single game for the Indiana Pacers.
And the dude has his haircut and everything.
Exactly. He switched from cornrows to a fade.
He definitely had a crazy year last year, and hopefully we can see him on a court soon, whether that be for a contender, whether that be for us. But any veteran that we keep, like we wouldn't be mad at it, like as long as they're teaching the young dudes
for experience. Like, Like the dude left with cornrows, came back with a fade, and like we were. I don't think you remember this. We thought the dude got murdered and got cloned.
Like we thought he was like basketball career was done. We just saw some pics of him in practice a few days ago.
We were like,
TJ Warren is actually alive.
Yeah, this guy's alive and he's doing stuff. But remember, it's weeks, not months. Remember that.
That's true.
Yeah, weeks, not months. We've been hearing that for months, by the way. All right. With that being said, I think if we look at the questions, I don't think there's any more. How many did we answer? We answered 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We answered 9 questions. 9 questions tonight.
Next week we're gonna we really want this podcast to be about your questions.
Absolutely. So, it's about the people, what the people
questions,
want.
Any suggestions.
Absolutely. Whatever you want us to talk about, please hit us up on Twitter, on the comments, of the YouTube, SoundCloud, whatever. And I was also noticing one thing when I was looking at the analytics on YouTube. I saw that 70% of the people that watch the podcast on YouTube are not subscribed. That's around 90 people. So if you are one of those 70%, one of those 90 people, then we would really appreciate you subscribing. We drop episodes every Sunday, unless stated otherwise. But barring World War III literally breaking out, we will be uploading every Sunday, 3 p.m. Eastern time. I believe that's 6 p.m. Pacific time or 6 p.m. Pacific time, whatever other time zones you're in. 3 p.m. Eastern time. You can get it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, YouTube, SoundCloud, Anchor, wherever you get your podcasts at. But I think that's about it. Make sure to show us some love. If you tuned in from last week, we appreciate you coming back. If you're a new visitor, then we appreciate you coming in. We hope you liked it. And anything else you got to say, Dom?
Again, any suggestions, man, send them our way, man. We got a lot of room to grow. But we want to grow. We want to get better. We want to do more with this.
We really do. We have some big plans for this podcast. Hopefully it takes off. Yeah. Hopefully you guys stay with us for the ride. And that's really all we gotta say. I mean, anything else you gotta add?
No, that's everything, man. Thank you guys for the questions. Thank you for the listens, and have a good Sunday.
Absolutely. Have a good Sunday. Have a good rest of the week, and hopefully we'll see you guys next week. See you guys.